Welcome back to MMA Al Dente. I'm here to talk about Jamie Mullarkey versus John Makdessi, two seasoned veterans. John Makdessi is 18-8, 38 years old, and he's given up 4 inches of height and 6 inches of reach to 29-year-old Mullarkey, who is 16-6. Makdessi's got a lot going against him on paper in this matchup and in every other matchup. 38 years old, giving up 4 inches of height, 6 inches of reach. But he's a guy that has not taken the beatings he should have taken for a guy that's been in the UFC this long. And it's because he's just got this very neutralizing style. He keeps himself safe. He's got 2 TKO losses in his 26 fights. One of them was the Cowboy Cerrone, who head kicked him and broke his jaw. That's really what ended the fight. And one was the Lando Venata, which he was knocked dead with a spinning wheel kick, of all things. But that's really it. That's the one time I've seen him unconscious was against Lando Venata. And Cowboy Cerrone also broke his jaw. But he's historically been a very durable guy. He was submitted once, very early in his UFC career, to Dennis Holman, who's a fighter from another time and place altogether. But that was still, a weakness that he would have on paper, John Makdessi, having 0 submission victories. But it's the only time he's ever been submitted, and it's to a really crafty guy. Guy tapped out Matt Hughes twice in under a minute. But his chin is what I think is relevant here, and I don't think he has a bad chin. And we've seen him take a good amount from guys like Ignacio Bahamondes. That's his last victory, and he looked good in that fight. And that's the thing with Makdessi too, just because he's a patient counter striker. Bahamondes, I don't know what his reach and height is. I don't know this shit, but I'm sure it's closer to Mullarkey's than it is to Makdessi's. Although I think he might have short arms. But either way, Makdessi is a guy that can win even the jousting battle just with his style. He's a counter striker, picks his shots, and he's not the most agile guy. Certainly slowing down a bit in my opinion, but he's much more comfortable than a guy like Jamie Mullarkey. Mullarkey, though, he's hell on wheels. We've seen him engage in brawls, wild brawls, and also get some wild knockouts as well. Makdessi, though, as of late, he's been much more of a point fighter despite getting finishes earlier in his career. His last few wins come over Ignacio Bahamondes, Jesus Pinedo, who's fighting for the the PFL World Championship and $1 million. So that's a win that's aged well. And then before that, you go to like Ross Pearson and Abel Trujillo, guys that are long gone. So it is what it is. But he's a guy that has historically been very tough. He was dropped and rocked by a hard right hand from Mehdi Baghdadi, I believe. Mehdi Baghdad, but he survived that one. The only time he's ever been knocked out was against Lando Venata. And as far as winning a point battle, I think he's very much in the realm of winning a pure striking fight with Jamie Mullarkey on points, even though Mullarkey's got half a foot of reach. But this is not a pure striking fight. And Jamie Mullarkey, he's a guy that will mix in the wrestling. He's much more inclined to do so anyway than John Makdessi. But let's get into Jamie Mullarkey here. He's got 16 wins, 10 by TKO, 3 by submission, 3 by decision. So much more of a finisher in general. He has 6 losses, 4 by TKO, 2 by decision. Jamie is more susceptible to getting knocked out, I think, than John Makdessi, or at least it's very close. Makdessi has a lot going against him naturally, and Jamie Mullarkey, it's not like he can't crack. He can knock you down, knock you unconscious. But I think Jamie Mullarkey's definitely got durability issues, where moving forward, if he loses another 6 fights, the majority will be by knockout. That's my prediction. He's been knocked out by Muhammadjan Naimov, Jalen Turner, Volkanovski, and Luke Katobig. I think even though he's lost to good guys, and even though he's not even in his prime or close to it, it's an issue for him. And it may not hit the surface in this fight because John Makdessi, even though he's got some craftiness to him, he's got some spinning finishes as well in the UFC, he's not really much of a knockout threat, certainly not these days. He's much more content point fighting, which I think goes along with him managing his 38-year-old energy, which I know a thing or two about. I have 37-year-old energy. But in general, I think energy could be the difference maker here with Jamie Mullarkey out hustling John Makdessi. On the feet, it'd be an interesting striking battle alone, just because Mullarkey's not a bad striker at all, probably the bigger knockout threat, and has every physical advantage and natural advantage possible, biological advantage. But John Makdessi's the better striker still. So I think the striking could be interesting, but as far as overall work rate, takedowns, everything else, I've got Jamie Mullarkey out hustling John Makdessi, and who can forget the crowd? Okay, crowd can't be everything, but I think you really got to shut a guy down to win a fight when he's got his hometown cheering him on. I'm talking about your opponent. When your opponent has his hometown cheering him on. So Jamie Mullarkey is the pick. Gun to my head, I'd go with the decision, but be interesting if either guy got a finish. It'd be fucking fascinating, even for Makdessi. This might be his opportunity here. But yeah, I'm going with Mullarkey. Out hustles Makdessi, wins a decision. As far as betting on this, I'm not betting on it at all. I haven't seen the prop bets. If Mullarkey by decision is plus money, maybe it's worth a sprinkle. But even there, I'm just probably staying away from this one. Mullarkey by decision is the pick, though. Like, share, subscribe, all that horse shit. Check out my other videos.